Hey everybody, welcome to the S60 SHL Entry Draft. We are really excited to get underway.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, he died. Oh god, this wasn't part of the plan. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Season 60 SHL Entry Draft. As anticipated, I am Seven, your very loud voice of the SHL. I am joined, of course, by Phalanx, my right-hand man, and this time by Second Sucks, Jax, the GM of the Nevada Battleborn, who is coincidentally also part of this draft.
Hello.
We are also joined by our wonderful production member, Ranger Jace, and A Capital Chicago, who will give a little bit of commentary. We were going to have other hosts, and we had to pivot at the last moment. But welcome. Good evening. Wait, why is... I don't understand. Well, no, we are, but I don't understand why it's saying the pick is in right now. It's not. The pick's not in. The pick might be in. I'm not sure yet. Let's see here. Yeah, we're good. Hang on. I figured this out. I'm an idiot.
We've been new, but
Yeah, right. The pick's in, but we'll get that going for you in a second. To a lot of not surprise, welcome to the Montreal Battleborn stand and desk. Beautiful pun, if I do say so myself. Out of Anaheim, Infidel, former member of JHO, current member of JHO. Great dude all around. Kind of everybody got suspicious that this was the pick over the last couple days, and it was mocked pretty heavily. What do you guys think here? Jax, you spent the last couple months as a rookie with Infidel. How do you like getting to know him that much? Oh, that's...
I love him. He was also my co-GM when I first joined the league, so I always love Infidel. If anything, I'm just disappointed in myself because I had no idea that his name was Stand-in Desk. I have been pronouncing it in my own head wrong the entire time, and I never got the pun. And whoever drafts me, just know I'm that stupid.
Yeah. We also would like to announce the second overall pick. Welcome to NOLA, Duncan the Walrus. Man, we are off to a hot start today. Southpaw, great dude, coming over from the ISFL, has earned really well. Got that solid bank, knows Joe really, really well. But yeah, that kind of got spoiled ahead of time. But congrats.
Yeah, Southpaw is a great dude. I had him as my GM in the ESFL. Great dude. Super nice, always around. Good earner.
It's already screwed my mock.
Really? I feel like everybody copied my mock.
For some reason, I had him going 4th to Winnipeg.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
there were like two for sure picks this entire draft, and these were them.
I had 2 for sure picks this entire draft, and it was 1st and where I will hopefully end up be going.
I can't wait until that doesn't happen just for the memes.
I mean, we'll see. If my sources are correct, we'll find out real soon.
We'll see. The God, what a hot mess.
Can we talk about how drafting a walrus should be illegal?
Yeah. Drafting a walrus and not putting him as the goalie should be illegal. No.
That's like drafting a sumo wrestler and putting him a wing.
I mean, that's also somebody that should have been put at goalie, which we've seen recently.
Right?
Yeah, my OBS is jacked up a little bit for a second. Apologies. We are still sorting things out. I thought this would be solved, but I'm not with it today. There we go. I can see the chat again.
Mission success.
We did
Up the desktop audio because everybody sounds quiet.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah. All right. We're figuring this
God,
out.
they'll hear-
Figuring
they'll
this
hear me
out
chewing.
as we go. The pick is in, yes, but the pick is not on my base layout, so we're good. We're figuring things out. Third overall is in, though. Jesus, bringing that professional production that I've had the last 2 seasons. Manhattan's pick is in, though, finally, and that is Maxwell Kerrigan. Congratulations, Jax. Welcome to
Hey.
Manhattan. Did you have an idea that this was happening? What was what were you going through in the week leading up to the draft?
I knew far longer than some people are going to be happy about.
Okay.
Well, the main concern was that Nola reached out to me, I think yesterday,
Okay.
and I have some history with Nola in that they're part of the reason why I stopped being in the league for a little bit. And so I was like, hey, just like I wouldn't mind not going to NOLA, and it was a whole issue. But I'm glad to be in Manhattan. So yeah, a lot of people I know in Manhattan. I really like them. So
Now you were on Hockey Talk Tonight, talking a little bit this past week about how some of the guys in Manhattan have been a big help to you as you've stepped back into a GM role too.
oh yeah, JY's been helping me quite a bit with just any questions I've had. Even like reviewing trades that I wanted to do, which was really nice. Although I haven't taken his advice mostly for that. So, I mean, you look at Luke's in there, and Luke was my first GM in the league, and he drafted me with his first SMJHL draft pick as a GM.
Yeah.
So, plus, I mean, we've got people like Toast in there. I love Toast. Also a fellow SMJHL GM. And it's just all good people. Well, except Lepish is in there, but it's whatever. Yeah.
God. Yeah. No, you were very worried about this getting leaked out too much, and I think it just happened inadvertently anyway. Everybody was being far too coy about it.
Well, if I'm honest, Jay was worried that he would be sniped.
Yeah, which is
if
fair.
Nola traded
Everybody's
second.
worried about that.
And there were some teams that wanted to move up. I know Winnipeg moved up to 4, and as soon as that happened, Kez messaged me going, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, hi. Yeah, have a backup plan." I know Seattle talked about moving up into the top 10, so like keeping it hush hush was pretty priority.
Yeah.
But now it's not a secret anymore, and I can actually talk about it. Very
Sorry,
excited.
I'm buying time as I'm working out with Jace what's wrong with the production, but we fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have had the 4th overall pick in for a little bit. It took a hot second, but it is. I love this name, goddamn. Gonzo Gobbledygook, Tweedledum, going to Winnipeg. Tweedle being a guy who actually drafted Kez way back in the day, so like they're super familiar with each other already. Makes a lot of sense there. Winnipeg's fully shifted into that rebuild window, and Tweedle will be a really good part of that. Does good media, everything going on. Really, the pick really makes sense here. I like it a lot. Tweedle's a great dude. I actually wanted him in Carolina back last season, so no surprise that he's going at the top of this draft as well. It should be a good piece for their team as they kind of look towards the future.
Yeah, I didn't know a bit about Tweedle drafting Kez way back in the day, but knowing that makes this pick makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they get along really well. Tweedle's great for a locker room, as Smith would attest if he was here. Just a stand-up dude, really.
Great user, nice bank, great name.
Oh, fantastic name.
Tier 1 name.
Names have been on point for like the entire draft class, really.
For sure, yeah, this is a good one.
I think this draft class and the next are probably gonna be like the two strongest between just names that are hilarious across the board.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the current J draft class is pretty solid, honestly.
Oh, it's a very solid draft class. I'm quite excited for tomorrow.
5th overall is in fact in the first pick. Oh god, that's awkward. The first pick of the Philadelphia Forge franchise, Evil Albran out of Newfoundland. We should fix that draft thing for the next season. Awkward, but yeah, the first gen off the board. I guess counting Southpaw as a like crossover, not really a first gen. Albran came to the league, made a big name for himself real quickly. I enjoyed talking to him a lot. I'm sure Felix did too. Kind of a out of nowhere pick to some, but I grew on this pick a lot in my mocks, and I think he'll be a good fit there for a locker room that is going to experience a fair amount of losses at first, but it definitely has a lot of really active, engaging personalities in it.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I've heard about him in Newfoundland, he's super active over there and has been great for them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like from what I've heard of the Newfoundland locker room, it's really hard to go over there and not be super active.
Yeah, because if you're not talking once every like 35 seconds, you're getting passed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I was writing media before I was drafted into the J, and I was asking around, and they had something like 10,000 messages one month.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just
like
crazy.
I was comparing like back when Corey was a GM, I was putting we were comparing our like post volumes in our team's servers, and Corey's like, yeah, no, I talk like some like 5-digit number. I'm just like, what? How do you generate that many messages in a Discord server? 6 overall is in. Winnipeg getting those almost back-to-back 4 and 5 picks is pretty exciting. They're also probably pretty excited with who fell to them. Welcome to Winnipeg, Marcel Beck. The user Bytor has put out some great statistical media over the last season. The recent bit with the tracking team TPE over time has been fascinating as somebody who's kind of struggled to create media in the same vein. I've like wanted to track that and haven't figured out a good way how. So it's been really exciting seeing the new things that he's brought to the league. They have brought to the league. Did a great job in St. Louis this season. I think Winnipeg's going to be super pumped to get a user of that caliber.
Yeah, I think this is a fantastic pick, not just for like the media and the presence, which having a big bank account is huge, but one edge to it I really like is having somebody who can pick out this data is huge for your simming and your testing. By being able to sift through all of your results and saying this is what's valuable to us, and somebody who already knows what you're looking for in all of your simming and your testing is just huge for them, and that's going to be great for the rebuild.
Oh, for sure. Like that's something that lets you really optimize what you're doing before you have to before you're on the big stage. Like, so if you're prepared with all your testing and your builds before you get to the point where you're like trying to compete for the cup, you're going to be that much more prepared when you're there. And I think that's a huge thing. So somebody that has both like the media presence and the statistical knowledge to kind of take advantage of all of that is going to be really useful.
So if he's really, really good at stats and such, would you think that he's maybe going to be thrust into a role pretty soon?
What was that?
Well, like, so in Hamilton, for example, when I got in there, almost instantly, Aaron Wilson was in a coaching spot.
Mhm.
It's because he was great with the sim. He knew what he was looking for. He was good at stats. So could we possibly see Viator get put into like a coaching position with Winnipeg?
No, I think that's very fair. And I think it makes a lot of sense. I know Geek is somebody that would definitely take advantage of that. So I could see it.
That would not be surprising because these are the people you want in your management.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that would make a lot of sense. We've got Minnesota's first pick in. I guess their first round pick, and they traded 10th overall earlier today. And with that, welcome to Minnesota, Matty Saturo Gojo, guy that recreated recently, has done well for himself since coming back. Seems pretty engaged with the site. Another ISFL crossover kind of guy. Makes a lot of sense here. I think Minnesota's looking to really hit a couple good draft picks and retool, and somebody that's like a known quantity like Matty will be really good for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matty's great. I've been on international teams with him before in World Juniors.
Mm-hmm.
On his last player, great guy.
Yeah, no, like just like a really solid pick here, honestly.
You know what? I had him in my top 5, and I'm surprised he fell that far.
No, I think a lot of people did. It's just that like the top end of this class got really congested. And like not in like a bad way. It's just like there were a lot of people that you looked at and they're like, yeah, no, this could be a top 10, like top 5, top 10 guy, but it's like 15 top 10 guys and like 7 or 8 top 5 guys and like a couple people that made a lot of sense of like 1 through 3, and that kind of just piles up and forces everybody down the board.
A couple of people being Infidel and Southpaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have a trade. Nauer is probably around for that. His internet died prior when he was introducing the draft, but Nauer is here, I hope.
I'm here. Hey. Okay, hopefully my internet doesn't cut out while I'm announcing this one. But we do have the first trade of the draft to announce. Manhattan is sending the 8th overall pick, which was originally owned by Toronto, over to Buffalo. Buffalo sends back in return their first round selection this draft, which is 19th overall, and then a conditional S61 first, which is either Los Angeles's or Seattle, based on which one is later in the draft.
Okay.
And also, welcome everyone to the draft. I'm gonna correct that right off the bat. Welcome. My internet's back.
Yeah, we've had some tricky issues with internet services during these SHL drafts. Nauer's now, Phalanx is the first time we did it a couple seasons ago. Mine went down fully like for about 30 minutes earlier today, so that's a little terrifying and living in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But
They plan it, man. They wait for the SHL draft to do this.
yeah. Stop trading Buffalo first, says Soderberg in the chat, because Buffalo gets to do stuff like this, such as trading up for... Oops. Wrong button. Draft card. There we go. Grayson Cooper, Goilers out of QCC. Makes a lot of sense if you just look at who the GMs of QCC are, i.e. Flex and Evok, both in Buffalo. Phalanx, why don't you explain this one? Tell us a little bit about Goilers, why you're super excited about this one.
So Goilers is a phenomenal user. Her last player, Sophia Bennett, went on to be Hall of Fame after having a fantastic career and planning on going for a similar kind of career this time. So super excited to get her at 8. Trade up, absolutely worth it. This is why you stack up all those first round picks.
Yeah,
so that you can do stuff like this when someone starts sliding a little bit, and you can jump in and grab them.
Yeah, no, for Goilers to still be there this late in the draft is a great steal for you guys just in general. Another person that I was looking at trading up into the top 3 in the J draft for, just like an overall engaging person to talk to, drives the locker room, builds good players. very fortunate to be able to make this kind of pick at this far into the first round.
This is another one of those ones where, honestly, if we did not know that Infidel was going first, like if it was not pretty well known, you could easily see Soft going first overall.
No,
Like
absolutely.
it would have been a no-brainer pick.
We traded up to drafter at 3 in the J draft last season.
Yeah. No, like it's somebody that you absolutely chase after for sure, and it makes a lot of sense. Tampa Bay's pick is in. The mocks hitting well today, we'll say. Welcome to Tampa Bay, JJJ Angler, James Janderson Angler, T-Muse out of Maine. Another great dude that I enjoyed getting to talk to, as little as that was. I think Tampa Bay gets a good steal here. And like those like guys that are clearly top 10 could be top 5 guys, just so many of them slipping down into the later half of the or the middle portion of the first round. Flex, did you get to scout T-Muse at all, or was that not on your list?
I get to talk to them a little bit. They seem like a cool dude. They're ISFL crossover user and a great player over there. And they did some nice media at the start off here. So you love to
build up that bank nice and high early.
Build up that bank nice and early. Yeah, seemed like a good guy. Just didn't have the chance.
Yeah, no. Definitely a good pick for Tampa here. They continue to just get guys that are good players and good locker room presences that just like slip down to them due to the quality of the top half of these drafts. All those picks that they acquired during the first half of this past decade have really started to pay off for them. With that Rose Puff trade, being able to consolidate some picks, being able to move up in some drafts, and just having picks in the right places, honestly. Done well with their asset management and like gotten honestly pretty lucky with who's been able to fall to them. So congrats to Tampa, congrats to T-Muse, Angler, going to be a good fit there, I think.
Yeah.
As we look to the second half of the draft, we've got 2 Texas picks coming up. A lot going on there. They haven't had prospects in a while. So as they look to actually have a prospect pool again, what do you guys think they start going for?
I think when you have, I couldn't even tell you if Texas has a prospect right now. To be honest.
I don't think they do. I think on the budget they just don't have. They've got a
defense. They've got a defenseman, Basil Silvert.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you start to look. They've got some older forwards on their roster, and also a couple of older, less active defensemen. So I really think they could just go best pick. They just go best pick available here. There's not like a specific position they really need.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and they just lost. I can't remember his name, but they lost Jayhawks player to the expansion.
Yeah, they lost but they have another goalie already. So that's
they have that other goalie, but it would be. I can see them late this draft or even next draft picking up a goalie, just to start getting them ready for that spot.
Flex mentioned looking at best player available, and second in TPE amongst the rookies will definitely do that for you. Welcome to the Renegades. Hi, Hashidi. The first of many, not even the first of many, the second Anaheim draft pick in 10 picks so far. So good representation of what Ace is doing down there in Anaheim. Another great earner with a good bank. First gen as far as the site's concerned, but I think they have a sim league presence somewhere else. That one I'm actually not sure about.
That sounds right. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, would help if I actually paid attention to what's going on in the ISFL, right?
Yeah. ISFL dumb anyway, though.
High has brings a lot of TPE to the table. Texas is getting a guy that will just go out and get the TPE at least. Not somebody that I got to interact with a lot in the J scouting process. But the fact that like
told that High is in fact in the ISFL.
Oh, cool. So I wasn't wrong in thinking that, but yeah, like earning great, bank great, falling all the way down to 10th overall, kind of wild, honestly. But like you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, like any of these people could have gone, like, you know, top 5, top 10 anywhere. So like, it's not egregious that they're that like somebody like High would fall all the way down this far. Yeah, we'll swing back to look at the top TP available as it disappeared real quick. Oops. But you're looking at, you still have, 8 forwards at 300 TP, plus Merica and Wet Jeans at 299, and a couple, like, more guys in the 290s. You still got 5 defensemen above 300. You've got Valor, you've got Negs, you've got Cody. Not eggs. You got numbers, not eggs. All in there as like guys that are like proven good earners. So this class honestly seems very deep throughout the first round. Anything that you guys are taking away from that, other than that that rookie TP might be a little inflated?
Rookie TP is really high right now.
Yeah, but back in our day, we had to work for our TP, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just gonna sit at my capped 350 for the entire season.
Right, I'll get out of here. I'll stop giving everyone TPE. But
this is all ACAP's fault.
Blame me. Bad Wolf gets enough hate. But I think what really surprises me is like, yeah, what you said. How many like still above 300, both forwards and defensemen are still available?
Yeah.
But then like, it's not for a while. I think it's like what, 35 people are all above at least 290 or so.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how deep your pick is, like, chances are you're getting someone who's going to go far for you.
Yeah, if you're picking someone in the if you're just picking in the first 2 rounds in general, pretty much, you're getting someone who's already got a really nice start.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a strong draft class, and a lot of the recent ones have been. But like, it's definitely warped the perception of, like, it's definitely a fun thing to do, to compare reactions to trades of, like, yeah, a second rounder back in, like, season 50, very different than a second rounder now. Even though, like, the league is bigger by 4 teams, that second rounder still has a lot of weight and a lot of value, as it's easier for mid-earners to exist, it's easier for mid-earners to be relevant, especially with the new update scale. The draft classes have just gotten very deep, and that's exciting to see. I think we're here to announce our second trade of the evening. Nara, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, so me again. Slow draft so far, but finally the 11th pick is seeing some movement. San Francisco is going to be sending the 11th overall pick, their owned first, to Montreal, along with their S61 third. Montreal, in return, sends back 17th overall, owned by Montreal, originally Chicago's first, and their own second in S61.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you, Nauer. And that pick is in for Montreal. And that would be Zach Wilson, Bendover, Jamar Laxon, if you're familiar with ISFL guys. Great dude, was my GM for a little bit in Minnesota in the DSFL. Just really enjoyed talking to him. Has come over here and also still done very well for himself, doing well for TPE.
What a render.
Absolute stud.
Gorgeous.
The absolute king of looking like you hate your day job.
I mean, is that what I look like in the mirror every single day? Like, geez.
Well, if you see him, like, he could score a hat trick And he'll still look really upset about it.
Oh yeah.
So the renders that we're gonna get out of this guy are gonna be spectacular.
Oh yeah. Some absolute baller sigs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, welcome to Montreal, Ben, Jamar. Welcome to the expansion team. It should be a good ride, honestly. And like with expansion teams the way they are, they'll shape up to be pretty competitive in their window as you grow as a player. So that'll be a fun thing to pursue.
And Montreal, especially with their expansion draft and with the picks that they've gotten so far in this draft, are shaping up to be, out of the two, probably the strongest.
Oh yeah, no, they've made phenomenal picks that are earning incredibly well out of the gate.
Some really smart trades as well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. They turned next season's second into a third to move down from 17 to 11.
Yeah.
Get the guy you want. You still have
get a guy that's just earning at a crazy rate too. That's just slipped through the draft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense. We have our Texas pick in at 12. Exciting for me. Also kind of humorous for me because they didn't think that they would go this high. My boy out of Carolina, another ISFL guy, Negs Bjorn. Phenomenal render. Welcome to Texas. It makes a lot of sense for Negs to go here, even if he doesn't think so. He's earned really well. He's a known quantity who earns well in the ISFL. Stand-up dude. I was super pumped to draft him in the SMJ HL draft. Flex, I know you were as well. I just got to him first.
Unfortunate.
Here's my question: Does Bjorn play with those glasses on? And
absolutely.
If so, does he have a full cage, or is he just like rocking it?
No, he doesn't even wear a helmet. He's paid off the refs. Doesn't wear a helmet or anything. He just goes out like that.
Helmet.
I mean, there's nothing in the SHL rulebook about having to wear a helmet, so
yeah.
On that,
wear a helmet if you don't want to.
On that, Bjorn being in Texas makes more sense than hockey being in Texas. So it's it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about the TP of players available, and like just in terms of 300 or more TP players, there's we're on what pick 12. There's still like 15 players.
Yeah.
So like this is mid-second round, and there's still going to be 300 TP players.
Oh, for sure. Like you can get
which is amazing. I love it.
You can get 300
really
TP players.
TP rookie class.
Yeah,
until the 27th pick.
Even
that
with
does
like
include 3 goalies, but
the TP inflation aside, like these are still like 280 players before like back in our day, right? These are still like 280s that like are still super valuable. Like the classes since like 53 onward have gotten super deep, in part due to the pandemic, in part due to the crossover, sure, but like the recruitment's super strong this last year.
Yeah, I'm not saying it just because I'm on the team, when really a lot of the work is being done by just fantastic individuals. TDZ's brought on, but people like Zema, Seymour, Portal, Canes, everybody's just been pitching in so much with everything between just expansion and recruitment. The league's growing at a great rate.
Oh, for sure. We have Atlanta's pick in over at 13th overall. Another guy out of Maine, actually. Welcome to the league, Philip Dimitra, or welcome to the SHL, Philip Dimitra. A guy I mentioned actually on Hockey Talk tonight, as Jackson at least attests to, as somebody that like could have easily slipped. Somebody I thought that was super valuable. Super engaged with the league despite being across multiple leagues. Doesn't have a huge bank, but I think Atlanta's recognizing players that are super driven and engaged with what's going on in the league, as opposed to just like checking in, grabbing some TPE, and checking back out. So this pick's pretty exciting. I think Toast had a good draft out of Maine this past season, and Philip was definitely part of it.
Maine did pretty well for themselves on the SMJ HL draft. This is what their second player in the first round.
So.
Yes.
Or second.
No, this is their third.
They had Walrus earlier,
South
and then
Walrus
Angler.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Maine, I'm gonna need you to stop because you're about to screw over a lot of people's mocks. I want to know what happens if people put like Anaheim, for example, to have the most players in the first round, and they tie with another team.
No,
I think everybody gets it.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you can stop right here, and we'll all be happy.
Yeah. Obviously, like,
Just more TPE inflation.
yeah. I mean, the league can't keep getting away with it, right?
I'm hoping people say that about Nevada after tomorrow.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you and I both have a couple first-round picks to make. We'll get away with something, I'm sure.
Except one of us needs to draft an entire team.
Yeah, that's on you. Have fun.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, thanks.
We have our Edmonton pick in. We were talking about guys out of Maine. How's another one for you?
Oh no!
Actually, I lied. This one's a weird situation. It's half Maine, half St. Louis. They traded earlier this season. Tanzi, Maverick Seabrook, welcome to Edmonton. Edmonton's a team with a couple different ISFL presences, and Tanzi makes a lot of sense here, earning good TPE. Excited to see what they'll turn into as somebody I think might be honestly a little overlooked by SHL GMs.
Ponzi's great. I haven't got to talk to them a ton, but they seem to be really, really cool from my short interactions with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tanzi was one of those people that was super high on Overdue's board, actually, because we were doing our scouting for Carolina last season.
You guys scouted?
Yeah, right. Overdue was huge on Tanzi, and it turned out that I traded down and we didn't get to pick him. And then Overdue left me not because of that. Definitely not because of that. But no, Tanzi definitely seemed like a great person from what I got to know. Just didn't end up in Carolina. I think Edmonton gets away with one here just as like getting that known quantity, similar to the pick that Atlanta just made. Not the biggest bank, but you're going to get somebody that is a pretty reliable pick here, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a good first pickup for Edmonton. I think we've touched on it a ton. It's hard to miss so far, but I think this person's going to slot in real well with their locker room and their lineups.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I can agree with that. We've got a pick in from Hamilton, the rare Hamilton picking in the top 15. With how much they've won recently, they don't often get to pick this early in the draft, right? Welcome to the Steelhawks, Ty Murphy, somebody that has a little bit of history in the league, was a recreate from mine and Phalanx's class, actually. Went away for a little bit, came back, still had that history with guys like Nauer, so it makes a lot of sense to see them here. From what very little interaction with them that I can remember from back in the day, but nothing bad, so that's obviously a positive. Has the bank from being a recreate, doing well there. I think a good culture fit, definitely. Makes a lot of sense. When I saw that they recreated, I was interested in bringing them back into Carolina, and Detroit was on that so quick that I didn't even have a chance. So
pretty lucky in Detroit, actually, that he recreated at the right time. He's one of the guys that really helped bring Detroit the 4-star cup over in season 53, and actually hold some of the SMJHL records for plus minus in that little beginning FHM era.
Oh yeah, that Detroit team back then was super
that
wild.
Detroit team was so good.
We're pretty happy to have him back in Detroit, and just want to say the juice is loose. Congrats on being drafted to Hamilton.
Thank you, Jace.
It's definitely a great team to go to. I mean, I'm still in their locker room, and the amount of just quality people in that locker room,
yeah,
it's is great. You know, we were talking about people having a good cash hoard this draft. I am amazed at some of the people going into the SMJHL draft and their
Oh my
banks
god,
right now.
yeah. Like the amount
Oh
of
my God.
the amount of media generated by some of these people. And like yeah, some of it's like ISFP people that know like, okay, I need to make money. This is what I'm gonna do to make money. But like the rookie tasks and everything else, there's like some loaded people coming into these drafts, which is really nice to see.
You look at someone like Issa, who on the site goes by With the Moose, or Angu did something. Real pingy inspiration there. They just released with Schwarznar full breakdowns of every single team in the J and what they're looking for. I think when we were getting updates about it, it was something like 100,000 words at the time.
Yeah.
And they haven't been paid for that yet, but With the Moose is sitting at $53 million so far. He hasn't been drafted to a team yet.
Yeah, no, that's insane. Like
I'm an auditor, an updater, a GM, among various things, and he's about to pass me in money.
Yep.
yeah, it's surreal. And like
And I
feels
have
like
a 2-year head start.
it feels like every season there's somebody that comes in the league and just like says, "Oh, this is how much money like people could make before. Watch this." Like
Watch.
I thought that like Ham and I made a lot of money back in the day, and then Dex comes in the league like a season later and trumps us, and like it just has like continually gotten like more and more insane with the amount of like production that people will put out for media.
Oh,
Winnipeg's pick is in, and a pick that will be surprising to some, but make a lot of sense to others. Daniel Merica Jr., simply incorrect, who used to go by Merica, off to Winnipeg, teaming back up with Kez. Not as high on the TPE. Some would consider a risk based on past history, but I had heard rumors about this pick in the last couple of days, and Kez was actually like I like talked to Kez a little bit about it, and Kez was super on board with bringing America in, and super interested in like the potential that was there. As somebody that has like shown a little bit of maturing since they were last in the league and has done well for themselves in Anaheim and not really gotten into trouble like some people thought that thought America might, honestly. So I think that Kez thinks he's really found himself a steal here, and it's like hard to argue with his logic.
The Anaheim draft of Oh No last season was definitely something. But no, he's been really good. And you know what? You want a player on your team that's going to hype up the rest of your team, and America is the person to do that.
All right, no, they definitely bring a lot of energy to a team.
Just the unwavering confidence that they're the best and that no matter what, they're going to be amazing is astounding. And I love it. Sometimes it's a little bit misplaced, but like 2 seasons from now, they're going to have that amazing draft class all be capped at like 425, and they're going to have, what, 2 full lines of capped people just from last draft?
Yeah. No, it looks like Anaheim looks great in that regard, and like Winnipeg as well. Like, obviously, Tweedle and America don't have the same reputation, but Kez just recruited as a center, I think. And you're looking at a future top line of Tweedle, Kez, and America, and that's like such a confident line that you can say, yeah, that'll be a threatening line 7 seasons down the road. And there's not a lot of teams that you can, not a lot of teams and not a lot of groups of draftees that you can say like have that going for them. So that inherently is very interesting and exciting and impressive. All 3.
I just want to point out how mind-blowing it is that like Simply Incorrect is now like the lowest TPE person taken so far at 299.
Oh yeah, no, and like we're gonna bring that up like 5 more times, probably within the first round. And definitely
I'll
within the
probably
next
do
30
it that
minutes.
much each.
It's insane. We have our San Francisco pick in, and it is both our, I think it might be our first, it's definitely our first goalie off the board. It might be our first player from that team off the board, or second, I'm not actually sure. Senji Sateki, the user Talls out of Colorado, 305 TPE, 300 TPE goalie automatically stands out, but came in as a UDFA and is at 300 TPE, like a couple other people before were UDFAs and hit that high TPE, but has come in and basically maxed earned since joining the league, and that's impressive. That like sometimes you see UDFAs join in and get a little bit down with like them being a little bit behind things, and that isn't the case here at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, second person taken from Colorado so far.
Second, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they had Gobbledygook earlier.
Oh yeah.
There,
Tweedle was there.
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Just how do you forget that one?
There goes one of my
I
mocks.
forgot Tweedle was in Colorado. Honestly, like no disrespect to either. I just like didn't remember that was a thing. But yeah, I know that Smith had mentioned like looking at goalies recently, and when you only pick at 17 and 31, you kind of have to bite the bullet early or not at all. So good on them for recognizing that need and capitalizing on everybody chasing these high TP skaters that they can move down and still get their guy at 17. So good work there.
It's been a pretty decent Colorado to San Francisco pipeline.
Oh yeah,
Last
between
couple of drafts, too.
Birdman and some of their most recent draft picks makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Birdman and some of their other Birdman probably started it, and then some other recent draft picks.
Mm-hmm. Got our second Atlanta pick of the first round in as well. Hey, Phalanx, what do you want to tell me about your boy Katarn22, Alfred Yankovic, another ISFL guy coming over?
Is he a little weird?
Yeah, he's a little peculiar.
Yeah, you could say it. You could say that. I think he's a cool. I think he's a cool guy. The DSFL GM, he's been really good about getting everything done and making sure he's staying on top of things thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been a fun guy to have around.
God, that picture! Oh my god,
that picture's phenomenal.
It's just magnificent.
Like, events team does. I don't have to do any of this, honestly. It's great work by Rots and the rest of the events team. Everybody that we've sniped from the ISFL to put on that team. But yeah, Katarn's done great. Very energetic locker room presence. Loves those counting servers, counting channels.
Oh my god, he loves the counting channel.
Like again, 320 TPE on a defenseman, 10 mil in the bank, like a lock to be good through their J career, but also like will be a good, at worst, like mid earner with his like DSFL presence as the GM of London, and like has like such a good ceiling as well. I think that Atlanta's really getting away with something here, except that like everybody else ahead of them is also a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, like this is one of a couple people in Atlanta from QC. Oh wait, no, that was I'm thinking of the other Dolphin. I always do that.
There's Trey Sombreros.
Yeah, Sombreros is out there. I was thinking him and the other Dolphin brother were both out there, but it's the wrong one.
I think one thing that's really understated with picking up like ISFL GMs and PDE people is just how much that diffuses your locker room specifically to other environments.
Mm-hmm.
Because then when people from other leagues start talking about the SHL, it's coming from a perspective of your team, and that really hypes them up, and it makes you so much more of a target people want to go to.
Yeah, now the dynamics of the crossover between ISFL and the SHL have been really fascinating to watch unfold, and it's all explainable, but like you would have no idea how that crossover was going to affect things. But it turns out it's actually just like how you have like the three leagues in IAHF, SHL, and SMJHL that all have like overlaps across each other. you're starting to see that a lot in adding like the DSFL and ISFL into that, where you've got now 5 teams that all share players and have like these weird networks and pipelines going on. Like there are pipelines between like different leagues now at this point, which is just wild. Like you've got like pipelines in like the Dallas Bird Dogs to NOLA and things like that, and that's really cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Manhattan's pick is in, close to finishing out the first round now. Welcome to the Rage Nikolai Ayerzov. Yeah, there we go. Ayerzov. User Faded. Somebody that is very familiar to people that have been around the site for a little while. Stand-up dude. Makes a lot of sense here as Manhattan looks to rebuild their prospect pool and their roster. Somebody like Faded, I think, is going to be kind of integral to that new era in Manhattan.
Sorry, I was being bullied in Manhattan. I was not following along there at all.
Why are you being bullied in Manhattan?
Because JP is there.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
They know more.
I actually share 5 locker rooms with JP, just from sheer luck of being moved around. So,
JP being moved around, or you?
Both,
me,
honestly.
Yeah, when I was IA, I got moved to Winnipeg and then San Francisco, and JP was there too.
No, I think, like, coming into this draft, I think Manhattan had, like, a very clear need of, hey, we need guys that we can rely on to carry us forward. Like, we have a good number of picks right now, but we need to, like, hit on those picks, and they definitely focused on that. Not necessarily, like, big boomer bust picks or big risk picks or necessarily, like, first gens that have a risk of flaming out, potentially, but guys that are, like, reliable picks that can really be at least the nucleus of something going forward, which I think is important. Like yeah, you want to like hit like versus like hit your picks versus having busts as picks, but you really have to identify like what your team can afford to do and what your team needs going forward as far as a culture and a locker room. And like some teams are more like opportunities to take risks at certain times versus others, and I think Manhattan recognized that they needed like solid picks that they could insert, you know, first gens and hit or miss picks in the next couple of drafts around guys like Jackson, guys like Faded, and really build from there. So I think this is a good draft going forward for them.
And they're really going to have to surround my player.
Needs all the help he can get, right?
If my rookie season says anything, it's that they got to Goldberg me to the goalpost.
Yeah. You're just straight up bumming here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm bad. Oh, I'm bad.
We do have another trade going on, I think. If Nauer is around to give us the deets on that.
The way you pronounce that name.
Nauer?
I'm here. Okay, so this is definitely. I can tell you right off the bat, guys. This is not going to be the last time I'm in here tonight.
Do you want to announce the other one too?
Yeah, why not? I'll do both while I'm here. So the first one we've got is the next coming up pick. 20th overall is getting sent out to Baltimore. It was originally owned by Texas. Chicago sending that, and in return, Baltimore is sending their S64 second and Chicago's own S61 third back to them. It slides to S62 if S61 isn't a Reddit draft. That's a condition that was on the pick before that's just getting upheld.
Okay.
And while I'm here, since again, extremely trade heavy draft, but New England is going to be sending 21st overall to Texas. That one was originally owned by NOLA. In return, NOLA sends their own second and their own third in S61. And I'm sure those are not going to be the last trades I announce tonight. So
Probably not.
All right, thank you very much, Nauer. Whoever that was unhappy about how I pronounced your name.
That was me.
Sorry.
While I'm here, I was actually just talking about this with Luke and Sean in HO chat. It is Noor, but I didn't correct you 3 seasons ago, and I was too late to.
I've subbed you Nour for like a year, so like you're gonna deal with it at this point.
Yeah, no, I'll
I
take it.
think it's too
I'll
late at
take
this
it.
point.
It's too late. I'm now or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Welcome.
It's now or never.
Yeah, Baltimore making moves at the end of the first round to get their guy. Welcome to Baltimore from Colorado, Eric Tak. Not sure exactly which. Grey's Anatomy.
Probably something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Toke. Well, has been a really energetic first gen, honestly. Done all right for themselves. Was a little bit of a steal for Colorado back in their J draft. Kind of made a name for themselves. Has really been a outspoken person on the forum and really kind of just a really engaging person, which is nice to see out of first gens, and definitely raises interest in you overall. I think with like losing guys like Cobb and Bongo in expansion, bringing in more guys like Gray will be kind of important for keeping that locker room energy up. They are, like, both Cobb and Bongo were not the biggest earners, but were very good at engaging with the locker room, either inconsistently like Cobb or weirdly like Bongo. And I think that is a fair, not a exact replacement, but a fair replacement for them.
Honestly, seeing Gray is just making me miss the Gray from the season's 47 draft.
Yeah.
Well, they were like the best IA player you could have in the SMJHL at the time.
Okay.
Like, set records in Vancouver as an IA player. And Gray, if you're out there, we miss you. Come back.
And to follow that up, we also had Texas trading up to 21, and that trade was to pick up Uthrid Ragnarsson, 5 for fighting out of Vancouver. Great bank, was a huge, like, very hyped pick for Vancouver coming into the J draft. Earning hasn't slipped, production didn't slip or anything, so obviously Texas potentially getting away with something here. It's like realizing what's going on with the draft and capitalizing on it in the early second round. Jax, did you get to interact with him much at all as another highly touted rookie this past season?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I've spoken with him a little bit in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've been trying to stay in my own team's Discord, but Vancouver kind of sucks you back into it.
You're a popular guy.
Yeah, and just the sheer amount of people in Vancouver kind of pulls you into it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he's really solid. He's he's just great, well-rounded. He's a good locker room presence.
Yeah.
From what I've seen. But Vancouver also has a couple of really good players available this draft still.
Mm-hmm. No,
I'm actually surprised their goalie hasn't gone yet. I was kind of surprised he wasn't the first goalie taken, but...
No, I think that's fair. Like, there were a couple good goalies in this draft, though. Like, it wasn't like a surefire top guy available.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you also had Aka, Vikian, and Tells, so any of those guys could have gone one. And honestly, the second level of goalies with Nordiques and Guy Fieri are both still really good too.
Oh yeah. Where's that Hamilton's second round pick? Which number is that?
Hamilton's second round pick is 36.
Okay. I bet you I know who's going to that pick.
That's aggressive, but sure. Meanwhile, Sorry, go
They
ahead.
have a GM in this draft.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Briefly, look,
Fine.
I didn't see him down there.
Ah.
Edmonton's pick at 22 is in.
We almost
Um,
came up a little short on that joke.
yeah. Lev Lebedev, user Lorik, another guy out of Vancouver, going to Edmonton. Another pipeline that makes a lot of sense with Boom being there. Signed as a UDFA. Didn't get a chance to talk to them much, but another UDFA hitting 300 TPE. Definitely some of the UDFAs stand out to me as like guys that GMs overlook because their raw TPE number isn't as high. I'm curious to get you guys' perspective on that.
Yeah, I think a better number to look at for stuff like that is TPE per week.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just see how consistently they're churning out all their tasks and getting everything done.
Also, like a great indicator again is locker room presence.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that's in the Vancouver locker room will tell you that he's very active in like all of the conversations, and he's just a solid pickup.
Yeah. Now, I've heard good things, but I never really got to interact with them. So like, props to Edmonton for keeping that pipeline going. I think that they've like anytime you're able to like sneak away a UDFA out from teams that might have overlooked them always feels good, and I think to get somebody like that in the second round is exceptional. Back to Tampa Bay now, and you were talking about we've been talking about Vancouver players, and we've been talking about goalies. Welcome to Tampa Bay, Olaf Karsikko, the user Aka that Jax was talking about, I believe, earlier. Somebody that's definitely stood out, could have easily been the first overall goalie off, or the first goalie off the board overall. Another like multiple 300 TPE goalies, all with solid banks that aren't like close to being out of money. Had a great presence in Vancouver as a rookie and was honestly a terror to some teams, including mine.
This guy had a monster season for Vancouver.
Yeah.
Unless he was playing against Nevada, the only team that let us win the series against them this season.
Aka was definitely a nightmare to play against, and like somebody that like I actively was not thrilled to see. Like when I would get on my break at lunch and I'd boot up the stream and I'd see that we were playing against Aka, and I'd be like, oh man, why we gotta do this?
Not again.
Yeah, so I think Tampa's doing good here. Obviously, we had Weaver step away a little bit from the SHL, who was going to be Tampa's goalie of the future. Weaver's still every once in a while around, but a good pivot by Tampa to identify an acute need of their team in the future.
One thing to keep an eye on now is that Zen Rosa is the only goalie left over 300 TPE.
Mm-hmm.
Next closest is going to be Nordiques at 285, and then a couple others. But from there, it steeply drops off to like 220 range. So I kind of want to see if any teams are going to look to maybe make moves.
Yeah.
Pick up 2 quick picks to grab them.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for a goalie in this draft, it's going to be running slim here pretty soon.
Yeah, and I think that like you definitely might start to see teams sweat. Although like I don't know if any of those three stand out over the others. Like obviously with goalies you're looking for like a surefire personality fit, especially as somebody that like might not be like the starter immediately or the starter like for a couple more seasons. They're not going to have a lot of sim performance to base their engagement on, so you're looking for somebody that can really get invested in the community side of things.
Yeah, the 2 things you want from a goalie, especially like right now with the state of the league, are a locker room fit and consistency. Mm-hmm. You don't need them to be a max earner, you just need them to be pretty average, above average, because that way they're not going to be a total liability.
Yeah. Although with the new update skill, we're gonna potentially see some changes, and like Dwight was concerned specifically about the change in goalie performance with the skater update scale changing. So if the skaters are more productive, is that going to make goalies more relevant at different TP levels? So I wonder if that plays into a little bit of Dwight and Trell's decision to pick up a goalie here.
I do wonder how far in advance some teams look in terms of positional needs.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, again, there's a couple of really good goalies still,
Mm-hmm.
but you look at next season's stretched, and we still have recruitment going on, and there's already 6 goalies in that draft class.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how many teams are seeing it going, we're going to need a goalie eventually, but...
Yeah.
We might be starting to step in on goalies for this next draft, because there was a while where there was
space
not any creating.
Yeah.
Well, we almost have one goalie per SMJHL team at this point.
Yeah.
But then again,
most
we
teams have one
drop
right now.
off to inactivity. It's going to be interesting to see who makes it that far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have our
some teams might need 2 goalies. So.
Yeah. We have our next pick from the expansion Montreal in. And welcome to the French Canada, Roderick Baines, Ben Pachi, out of Carolina. Somebody that I've been absolutely thrilled to have gotten a draft last season. Traded up to get him, was super thrilled with what I got. Him and Woomadus and I all bonded immediately off the fact that we all wake up at like 4:30 in the morning and have miserable times. Just a great dude that will really drive early morning engagement in a locker room specifically, but is like on all the time at work anyway. Really surprised to see him go this low. I thought he could have easily been a late first rounder. But I'm happy to see him end up with a team that I know will take good care of him. Just like a really good dude, which is what you're looking for out of an expansion team specifically. You got to build that culture first.
Early morning picks are great, especially if you know you have a lot of Europeans on your team to help bridge that overlap in activity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm also a part of that club. And I have one question for you, Seven, and it's how tired are you right now?
Right now? I feel pretty good right now. I got to sleep in a lot. Why?
I was up at 7 this morning.
Okay.
On my first day off.
Not even early.
Well, it's 2 hours of sleeping in for me.
Okay.
And like I've tried to quit Sody Pop lately.
Sure.
But I'm a couple deep today to stay awake for this one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, I got to sleep in pretty good. Like weekends are nice for me.
I have a girlfriend who works retail.
Yeah.
And so when she opens on Saturdays, it's real fun.
Yeah, I believe that.
She's yelling at me from the bathroom because she's watching the stream.
But speaking of expansion teams, we have our next Philadelphia pick in, and it's somebody that Phalanx was super excited about getting to draft in QCC, and that would be Evident Rogue, Ryan Gardner. Flex, why don't you hype up him like I hyped up Ben?
So Ryan Gardner is the next in a long line of Quebec City defensemen who just love beating other people up on the ice.
Hell yeah.
He's great. He's a kind of like a late night guy, but he is pretty active, earns well, asks a lot of questions to make sure he's getting everything understanding. Just a great guy overall. Can't really complain about him. I think he's a good picker.
No, I know you were in our conversations over the last couple weeks. You've been really excited about that. You were able to land him, and with what he's turned into so far. So I think Philadelphia is doing well here in bringing in some more good young guys that are going to be good locker room drivers and really bring up that energy for a team that will need it.
Mm-hmm. We had him as a UDFA the season before his J draft, and he was always around hyping up during playoff games in the evening, during our cup run, and that was fun. We were super excited to bring him back, and I'm super excited for him to go off to another expansion team.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be a good fit there, especially with what I've heard of that locker room so far.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say?
So I gotta ask, Phalanx.
Yeah.
Is there some sort of like kinship between expansion teams?
A little bit, yeah. I like seeing my players go to these brand new expansion teams. I had a couple of guys in our first season go to Seattle in their first season, and that was fun. So I do like seeing it.
It's got to be such a cool experience. Like one of the first players for a team twice. That doesn't happen
yeah.
often.
Mm-hmm. I guess a good question is, like, you were obviously in QCC doing your first J entry draft. Does that change? Was your J entry draft of that season different from the entry draft of any of the following seasons? And do you think that any of that's applicable to these current teams?
I would think so. That first draft was really hard because we have to build a whole team from scratch, and we went super deep into that draft.
Yeah. Obviously, with the J, it's a little different.
Yeah,
with,
it's a little different with the J throwing. I was just like, we'll pick some people and hope they come around at that point. But I think there's kind of a similar feel to. I would think so for these new expansion teams.
Yeah,
because you're looking like, all right, we got to get some guy. We have a lot of older players on the roster because that tends to be what's available, especially in the later rounds of the expansion draft.
Yeah, you got older guys and you got like mid earners.
Older guys, you got some inactives, and you want to make sure that you have replacements for them lined up as soon as possible.
For sure.
You want to make sure you do well on these first couple of drafts.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Our next pick from NOLA is in, and the run on Vancouver players in the second round continues with Ragnar Ragnarsson, one of many Ragnars in the league, as we've seen. SMD 414, earning pretty well. Another Vancouver UDFA. I want to believe them and another created it about the same time, or they're like friends with another person in Vancouver. I don't exactly.
It would make sense if that was Uthred Ragnarsson.
Yeah.
I believe they were, and then we had the whole debacle where they had to change names and a team.
Oh yeah. I do remember that. Yeah.
That was a can of worms we almost had to open.
Yeah. I think Nola's doing well here in getting somebody, again, that's probably a little overlooked. Not a huge media presence, but somebody that can very comfortably fill into that middle six of a team down the line. Has done well to continue in Vancouver, and will likely continue with how that locker room can be.
Mm-hmm.
And conveniently enough, we've got Nauer in here for another trade. What can you tell us about 27th overall, Nauer?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me back. I told you it was not the last time I'd be here. But Manhattan is going to be making their second trade of the draft. They're sending Minnesota second, which is 27th overall, over to Baltimore. And in return, they're receiving the later second, Atlanta's, which is 33rd. And also a conditional S62 Baltimore third, which is going to slide to S63 if S62 is not Reddit.
Okay. So wait, if S62 is not a Reddit, so if 61 is, it slides to 63. All right.
Yes.
All right, that was a little confusing, but all right.
A little bit.
Yeah, so Manhattan making a lot of moves. They have a good number of picks and are, I guess, looking to capitalize on a little bit of free value from Baltimore wanting to get in there, which, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Curious to see who Baltimore was very interested in, though.
We're about to find out.
Maybe. Waiting for that card to load. There it is. And that would be legendary former SHL GM Grapehead, Jimmy Larkin Conway, out of Nevada, actually. So somebody Jax is super familiar with. got the massive bank, earning pretty well. Actually, honestly, been super engaged with this player compared to their last stint where they were in goal. Somebody that I talked to leading up to the J draft, and that was somebody that really impressed me with like their current outlook on the league and how energized they were going to seem. So, Jax, how has Grapehead been in the Nevada locker room?
He's been really good. He's been a little quiet, but I mean, everyone in the Nevada locker room is a little quiet compared to other people. He's been pretty active.
Self-burn 5.
But well, I mean, we're working on it. I'm not the one that drafted this team. But no, he's been really good. I really like the guy. When I first was given GM, there were two people I considered for my co, and that was Grapehead and Jess.
Okay.
And I went to Grapehead because I had talked with former management about like who should I pick, and they were like, "Well, Jess would be really good." Not discounting Grapehead, but saying like that's a really good idea. And I went to him, and he was like, "Yeah, no, that sounds like an amazing idea. Like Jess is awesome. Hire Jess." And so like he's a good guy. He wants what's best for the team that he's on.
Yeah, no, Grapehead has always struck me as like a very stand-up guy, very interested in improving his locker room and improving his team. So I think like getting like that quality of person in the second, like knowing you're getting that quality of a person in the second round and who's been familiar with the sim leagues overall, has obvious war room experience and has a lot of experience through the site, and has like the self-awareness to say, okay, yeah, I wasn't super engaged while I played goalie, but now that I'm on this skater, things are different. I think that's shows a lot of self-awareness, and that inherently has a lot of value to a team.
Absolutely.
I do want to interject here for a second.
Yeah.
For some reason, one of Faye's players is trying to bribe me to give QCC a shout out.
Oh, okay.
The direct quote is, "If I pay you money, will you give QCC a shout out?" So I'm going to have to go ahead and say, "Go Quebec" right now.
Hell yeah.
Man, you are a
I'll link
sellout.
my PayPal.
I
Can't wait for that to be clipped forever.
I'm about to get drawn and quartered by Luke and Nauer for this.
Last week was a rent pay week. I'm hurt a little bit. I'll
Next
say when I
week-
have to.
I'm about to get in
Next thing
trouble
we
for
know,
this.
tomorrow afternoon, the first QCC pick is going to be announced by that clip.
I can make that happen. We do have our next pick in, though, now that we're done with that sellout. Welcome to the Toronto North Stars, Mars Stanton. Man, I like that rhyme. CD12 out of St. Louis. A definite connection there between your Captain Blitzkrieg and Toronto. Huge TPE. Kind of surprising to see a 325 TPE guy still there, but
Yeah, this is a guy I think most people had predicted to go somewhere in like the mid first round. And
Oh,
he's all the way
absolutely.
down
Like
here.
I know I did.
That's a steal for Toronto right there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
No, I think this makes a lot of sense, both in like value that you're getting and in like the pipeline between St. Louis and Toronto that started to form. All around makes a lot of sense. Like, really did well for themselves getting drafted at in the early third round of the J draft, and was projected to go honestly in the first round. And for that level of for that gain in perception to then slip to the second and for Toronto to capitalize, if that makes sense, that's a great pickup for the North Stars, I think.
Yeah.
We also actually just have the Tampa Bay pick coming in right afterwards, so we'll wait for that card to load. But which, as we wait for that to load, what pick out of the first round stands out to you as the pick that you you think got the most value out of, outside of the one that your team made? What pick has the most value associated with it, you think?
I really liked Yankovic to Atlanta at 18.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was a great. Tarn is a great guy.
For sure. Jax, how you feeling? You know this class super well. Who do you think snuck under the radar, or like honestly was just an insane value for where they were picked early even?
Well, I'm a big fan of Aka going at 23 to Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still shocked that he wasn't the first goalie. I mean, I realize that that Senji is also a top tier goalie. Like, there were 3 goalies there that really could have had the mantle of first goalie to go this round.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the whole draft seems like a steal outside of the top 5.
Yeah, those guys are bums.
I think,
jumping in, I definitely think San Francisco deserves a lot of credit for that pick at 17.
Oh yeah.
To trade back, pick up a great player, and get a second in another stacked draft class is just fantastically done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
No, that second's going to pay off huge, I think.
I think Cooper at 8 is a surprising steal.
Yeah, you have to say it because I told Phalanx he couldn't say it.
I didn't see Cooper going outside of the top 5. So that one's great. Hadashi at 10 is another good pickup. Or Hatchty at 10 is a great pickup.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see this a lot next year in that almost everyone is going to be a steal because everyone has...
Oh, yeah, like, we're going to have to change our perception of value,
3.
honestly. Like, there'll be, like, a couple of guys at the top, like, yeah, these guys are top 5 picks, and then there's going to be just like, okay, yeah, these are all first-round picks, and it's going to be hard to identify and, like, say, yeah, this person's clearly a better pick than this person. And that's going to be, like, from, like, pick, like, 5... Between, like, picks 5 and 10 all the way down to, like, 25 to 30. It's going to be hard to really identify that, I think. Tampa Bay's pick is in with 29 overall. And that is the third of the Carolina trio that I drafted. Lucas Raymond, Langabir, a recreate with a solid history, formerly Philip Zadina, came back and has earned phenomenally, still had a good bank from when they were in previously. Does phenomenal media, if you remember the SMJHL Draft magazine that they put together.
That was beautiful.
That was phenomenal. And like it almost sucks that the league goes so quickly that you can't get more of that content, because like you want to see, like, that's like the pinnacle of media for the SHL sometimes. And like I want to see more of that, but it's so hard to generate that in like a timely manner. But phenomenal media, good locker room presence. Had the pleasure of spending time with them in LAP as their last player was aging out. Been a huge fan of them for the last couple seasons, and I think that like it's clear there's still like that Tampa Carolina pipeline overall with like Trella and Dwight both still present.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Plus, Tampa has every pick from here to the moon.
Yeah, they still have every pick from here to the moon. Honestly,
yep.
They just always do.
Classic Tampa.
Classic MCP era still paying off.
Yep.
I think somebody pointed out, like, there's trade trees still going on.
Oh, yeah. There always will be. But I think that, like, it's astounding that, like, somebody with, like, that reputation is still available, honestly. Oh, and, like, honestly, like, you say that, but then like Grapehead with like a solid reputation just went 2 picks before, and like the depth of some of the recreates in this class of like not like the max earner like 2K Hall of Fame recreates, but the depth of like solid good personality recreates for your locker room that build like solid players, that is super deep. We've got our next expansion team pick in as well out of Montreal, who honestly have a lot of picks this draft. Dan's done a great job in trading into this draft to really build a core of rookies to get engaged and buy into the program. And I think that's going to be exceptional for their team going forward. But that would be the current pick of Miles O'Brien, Cheerful Bender 20. Somebody that is probably going to get super overlooked by GMs, especially looking at the second round. Doesn't have the TPE or the bank to back up what they can bring to the locker room. I think Toast is exceptionally happy with how they have been as a person in the locker room, and I think that I know that Dan and some of the guys that he picked up actually were doing pretty in-depth scouting of J teams going into this draft and getting GM takes on these players, and I think that Toast has made a very valid assessment of what Bender can bring to the locker room, and I think that Dan was all ears for somebody that could be that kind of personality for him. Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
Okay.
We're still here.
Okay.
Things happening, and it's very surprising.
I just talked a lot, and that was about it.
Yeah, well, we kind of pulled a hockey talk tonight and just tuned you out.
Yeah, that's fair. Hockey talk tonight where I talk a lot, and then just everybody kind of stops listening.
I think that bribe from the QCC player was an actual bribe.
Okay. Why is
They
that?
wanted my PayPal details. I told them to just keep the money.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Sure.
Hey, do you want to know which player is bribing people and calling you a QCC simper?
Calling me a QCC sim?
Yeah.
I'm not having that. I need that name.
I just want to know so I can get on the money. That's all I need.
We've got our second San Francisco pick of the night in after they traded down. And our first of only a few players out of Anchorage recently. And that is Latrell McDonald, Ryan Savitt, another recreate, who did all right for himself. Was a little overlooked in the J draft, a little overlooked now, but has earned at a pretty reliable pace, and has a bit of a solid bank to carry them through to their SHL career. I'm excited to see they joined a plethora of SFP prospects, and I think that they'll definitely fit right in. I know Smith was excited to make this pick.
Yeah, he was a guy from our class, correct?
I think so.
I feel like he was. That sounds right. Or maybe the class before.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely remember seeing him around during our time in the J, but he had some real life stuff. I think they had some real life stuff pop up, and now they're back and they look like they're doing just fine. Yeah,
no, I like this pick a lot actually. Finding somebody that specifically those people that join the league, are around for a couple seasons, and then recreate. They can go to a couple different ways. They can either flame out or they can come back. But when they come back, that they're going to be engaged with the league because they wanted to come back in the first place. They know what's going on, and they came back for a reason. And if you can figure out what that reason is and latch onto that and get them to continue to experience that aspect of the league, they're going to be a great value proposition.
Mm-hmm.
No. I just missed making fun of D-Mills.
Oh.
It's the only reason I came here.
Tragic, honestly.
Yeah.
We've got back-to-back Manhattan picks now, which are honestly both pretty exciting.
Yeah. That little gasp I made earlier was definitely because I didn't want to leak that.
That's fair. We've got a pick in for Manhattan, just waiting for that card to load. Maybe.
Oh.
But no, this is a like I was saying, this is a super exciting and like a little bit of a dramatic pick because like when you've got somebody with like a sizable reputation and when they don't get picked up immediately by teams and there's sort of this hush hush about like will anybody actually make that leap. Oh wait, okay. We're announcing that's awkward. The 33rd overall pick technically was Thunfish. Congratulations, Thunfish, as I have to pivot awkwardly. Somebody that's been a little iffy on the activity, but a good dude. Give me a second. Jax, you're familiar with Thun, right? You guys actually have...
I've talked a lot about activity on the site versus activity in Discord, and especially with Nevada, with it being a little bit of a quieter Discord, it's a lot of recreates, people that are in other Discords. Thunfish is probably one of our most active people in the Nevada locker room, and I'm really excited to have him in Manhattan. He's just a great guy. He's got tons of amazing stories. And yeah, I'm really excited for him. I'm happy for him to be on my team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's definitely one of those do your homework picks. One of those where if you go in depth on who's on the board and you get that extra input from JGMs and the people who's with them, you can make a lot of great things happen where people weren't expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm a big fan of JGMs being in, or not JGMs, of SHL GMs being in J locker rooms.
Oh, absolutely.
Like a lot of JGMs are in locker rooms, and I remember at one point when all of the GMs went into the season 60 draft class because they have their own kind of meet the GMs where they're not allowed to talk. I flat out said, like, any GM in here that wants to be in the Nevada locker room, just hit me up and I'll invite you. And we have our own little role for them.
That's cool.
But it lets GMs really do some more in-depth scouting. And like with Thunfish, if you're not in the Nevada locker room, you don't see him talking every day. Like, he's one of the people in the morning that's like the first people to say, "Hey, good morning, Nevada." And just he's a really good guy, and it's a really deep pick for Manhattan.
Mm-hmm. I do have the other Manhattan pick that I was talking up a little bit more, not to like cut any attention away from Thunfish, but this was definitely a pick that was talked about a lot for where it was, and that is Vidal Valor, Valor X77 out of Anaheim, one of a couple guys that went undrafted last season, who sort of took that and put a chip on their shoulder and continued to earn at honestly at one of the higher paces for the entire current draft class. Has done really well, almost at 500 TP already. Somebody that I think just with age is a very like impressionable, like inherently good person that like if you stick them around other people, like other people that you want them to sort of look up to, that's going to be a huge value pick for them. And I think that Ace has done a good job in keeping Valor engaged and keeping Valor focused on like, hey, you do this, and this, and like you're gonna get a team, and you're gonna do well, and you're gonna end up in a good spot. And I think that that's all kind of paying off right here, and it's what you want to see out of the JG. I mean, I think that is a huge notch for like a huge feather in your cap as from your perspective as Ace, to like take somebody that has a lot of question marks around him and get them to a point where like teams are like excited and like reaching up and picking you in the middle of the second round like this. That's good on everybody involved, honestly. And
you know what, with the new update scale, having a player that you drafted this season already being 500 TPE, like if you needed to, you could call him up right now.
Yeah, and like another season, you can go up easy. Yeah, like with how much they're earning, super easy.
Oh yeah. And again, with the new update scale, like he could do better than some of the rookies that went up last season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So excited for him.
One of the finalists for the Elias Armman Award in a J. Like, Valor is very much an example of you get out what you put in, and ever since like that defining moment of not getting picked last season, the amount of effort they have put in has not gone undetected.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much a pick that if Manhattan wants to, they have a total weapon on their hand that they can just point at anyone and say, get it done.
For sure.
I'm huge on this pick.
No, I think it's like I said, a good pick all around. Good on Manhattan for like identifying this. Good on Ace for like continuing to develop this, and good on Valor for like, you know, pressing through it. And like it obviously is like a huge kick to the stomach to not get picked, and like you don't want to see that. And I think to like take that sour experience and turn it into something where like you're putting a chip on your shoulder eventually, and like, you know, getting to climb back and like get identified as a valuable asset at this point is very impressive.
Yeah.
Ironically, and I wasn't trying to toot my own horn because this pick hadn't quite happened yet, but we have a second pick from the why is this not loading? God damn. We have a second pick from the group of guys that went a little unnoticed last time. Please load. I keep hyping up all these picks, and then they're just you gotta wait for a hot second, and it sucks.
The universe decided, like, all right, we'll let you have internet this time.
Yeah,
but we're not gonna make
just
it easy.
Straight awkwardness. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
On the note of Thun, just as a little bit of a filler, he joined the Rage locker room, and the first thing he did was catch a Pokemon in the Pokemon channel.
Hell yeah.
So there's his priorities. He's here to catch Pokemon and score goals, and he's almost out of Pokemon.
That's great, honestly. All right, here we go. Yeah, the one that I was talking up a little bit prior, numbers 12, 47, 15. Another guy out of Carolina. This one from 2 seasons ago that I was somebody that I immediately hit it off with in the DSFL when I joined and drafted. They went undrafted in the last SHL draft. Another guy that like you have to prod him to update every once in a while, but just like is always in the locker rooms. Same as a couple of the other guys that we just mentioned, like Thun and Valor, still active, engaged in the locker room, want to contribute to the league. Just you gotta push them in certain ways, and we've finally got numbers updating a little bit, and Seattle's taken notice, and like I think that he'll definitely be definitely has that trajectory of a solid mid-earner, middle six kind of forward that can take that space on the roster, not really like ever be like MVP caliber player, but in the right situation could put up 40 to 50 points, and I think that like with a good cap hit too, and I think that that's going to be a notable thing.
Yep.
I think you nailed it on every point. I think my favorite thing will always just be their name is 12, 47, 15, but everyone just calls them numbers.
Oh, because I honestly, I've known him for what 6-7 months at this point. I still don't remember that number. Like it's just a pain, honestly.
Because you just always call him numbers.
Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah,
fair.
It's so much easier.
Keep in mind, if you're going to write media about this player, spell out 1247.
Oh yeah, you make bank.
Just make all the money. Mention them a couple of times, it'll be good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You think stat and like build media is the way to make money? No, just write a biography about numbers. Yeah, like super great guy, and like there's some ISFL connections there, but like also just like Tig and Grok and Gabe like identifying like the kind of personalities and like players that'll be good for for the future of the team, not necessarily on the top line, but in general?
Just as a question from some of the rookies in this draft class, they want to know if the draft cards are going to be available for SIGs later.
I have not ever done it because I'm lazy, but potentially yes. In theory, I should have been doing it all along, but they're good for screenshots. I can say that.
Yeah. Well, part of the issue is that the PBE draft is going on right now as well.
Yeah, the VOD for this will be up for sure, so they'll be able to go back and listen to this awkward the gap filling conversation and stuff like that, and screenshot stuff. If you want like the full size like 1080p, I can get it for you. I just have not ever put them together because there's a background image and like a foreground image that like they're not ever put together. So at some point, yes, but you might have to ask me for them a few times.
That's the way to get anything done in this league.
Yeah,
if you don't get a response immediately, just keep pinging and spamming them.
Yeah, just pester 7 and eventually the stuff will get done.
Eventually.
That's how you got the sim team for the J eventually.
Yeah, you're right.
I should have known that from my mock.
Tampa Bay's next pick is in. Felix, what do you want to tell me about Hale Bingus? God, that
So, I love this guy. He's another ISFL crossover user.
Yeah,
but he's been great. He just comes in and hypes up the team during games, and we all just and every time he scores a goal, there's just a flood of the Bingus that we have in our QCs, and it's great. Big fan.
Mm-hmm. A little surprised. There's not actually a pipeline connection here, so that's just good on that. Good on Tampa for like doing their homework and digging deep and finding like those second round guys. Which obviously like Smith and Dwight and Trell are tired of hearing me yell at SHL GMs for not doing their scouting, so they're going that deep. But I
will say that card you have up there kind of terrifying.
It's absolutely terrifying. Like that's gonna be in my nightmares.
Can we like change the screen? Or...
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry.
Well, there's something to be said about people who get really creative with their renders.
Oh
like,
yeah.
We had Dwight from The Office. We've had a walrus. This draft already has just been fantastic for creativity.
Oh yeah. And honestly, like we talked about, like all the ISFL crossover, getting Ships and Rots and Kaya as like the core of my art team for the events department's phenomenal because like they just put all these head swaps together, and then I don't have to see them until like the day of the draft. I'm like, what the hell is this?
My render is a little bit of a weird one because he just kind of looks like most of the Swedish players.
Yeah.
But also, like, the render is the character, so it's perfect.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. We have another trade, so welcome back. Actually, is Nauer even around right now? Nauer.
I think they're still working. I think they're working on something still.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some issues possibly going on with it.
Okay.
Not 100 yet.
Yeah, we
Head
are
office trying to clarify some things.
in a wild turn of events. We are caught up to the GM chat, and we've been like pretty close to them for the entire draft, actually. So you can't blame this one on me and my shoddy production.
You're welcome.
I mean, we can. It doesn't mean that it's true.
Hello.
Hey,
hello.
welcome back.
I know.
We were waiting on you, actually.
So
How's
sorry
that?
for that delayed intro. We had a hitch with the approval on the trade that just came in. We were just trying to map it out because it was posted incorrectly. But we have it all figured out. So Hamilton is trading away pick 36, which was originally owned by Calgary. Buffalo, in return, is sending pick 39, their own second, and they're trading a future third in S61.
Okay. So
sliding on up
that Reddit third from Buffalo's Reddit third from next season for moving up 3 slots to do a little hop, skip, and a jump. That just got approved. The card is loading. And as always, it seems like Buffalo gets these randomly good players later in the draft. Welcome to the Stampede. Crutch, Mikhail Novikov stands out especially as somebody that Soph is super close with. Bringing both of them in together as they're both earning very well, definitely an exciting situation to have. Flex, can you tell us anything about that one?
Yeah, so Crutch and Soph are really good friends. I think that was one of the big pieces. That was one of the big factors behind us picking up Crutch here.
Mm-hmm.
Good player too. Been doing pretty well on TPE. All right, bank. But Crutch can push out some media. We all know that.
Yeah. No, Crutch can absolutely get the media done, and Crutch, Soph hasn't been around for a while, and Crutch had a player that flamed out recently. But putting the two of them together is a surefire way to sort of multiply your value there.
Having both of them together will be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Help keep both of them active a little bit.
Yeah, no, I as much as I hate it, I think Buffalo did a really good job there. It makes a lot of sense, and as soon as I saw that the trade was being talked about, I was like, oh yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good on Buffalo there. Crutch is a great dude. When I was looking at actually trading up for Soph in the top 3, I was like, all right, how do I line up Crutch later in the first or in the second? Because you just want to get those two guys around each other, or those two people around each other. And Crutch was already in Carolina before, so it seemed like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So good job there for Buffalo.
So at this point, we have 3 people above 300 TP still on the board. Granted,
so that's not entirely fair.
I was gonna get there. Excuse me, 7. If you tried stop talking the entire time.
Yeah.
So anyway, we do have Mills, Camp and Killer, and Vickian as the 3 people above 300 above.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Pingy's still on the board at 294.
Pingy is still on the board, and that's actually something that was kind of exciting because we saw the trade with Toronto and Tampa battling over pick 69, and the common meme was like, oh yeah, Tampa has 69, they're obviously taking Pingy, and then they traded away 69 for free because they're cowards. But Pingy is still definitely up there, and definitely a viable pick at especially at this point in the draft. They're earning well, and they're active on the forums, and they're contributing to the forum discussion and in the Discord, and it's not just a meme throwaway Pingy, it feels like.
Really not, considering how active he has been for real in Detroit.
Yeah.
We definitely kind of meme picked him at 69 when his player wasn't approved yet.
Yeah, that was fun.
Really turning into, an actual core player of the team right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still earning and wants to do more, and it's starting to look like a steal right now.
Oh, for sure.
The
lot of
evolution of Pingy.
A lot of people hate on Pingy, but he's a solid dude.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely think so, and definitely somebody that is going to rub some people the wrong way, but they hate fun, right? We've got a pick from Chicago in, and this is another weird alignment of text and render that I forgot to potentially correct, and that was Wet Jeans coming over. The Detroit, Nevada in the mix kind of guy. What can you tell me, Jax?
Wet Jeans. I mean, he's a great guy. I got reached out to by Detroit because Jeans and I think it was Muted got drafted together in the same year. They have history and they're good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And before I took over Nevada, there had been talks of trading Jeans to Detroit.
Okay, but then by the time you were there, okay, that makes sense.
And so I took over, and Muted wanted to revisit that in the off season. And I messaged Jeans. I'm like, hey, how would you feel about this? And he's like, well, I like it here. I also like Detroit, and so as a favor to Muted, I sent him over there.
No, that's
for a couple of picks.
Yeah,
I'll be
feel good
honest,
story
but-
though. I actually didn't know that they knew Muted, so that's cool to see like that kind of connection coming through
Yeah.
still.
And you know what? I was gonna take. So I was originally offered a fourth for him, and I was just gonna take the fourth because we picked him up in the fourth round. I'm like, oh, fourth round player for a fourth makes sense. And Jess messages me and goes, "Hey, what about a finder's fee?" I was like, "That's a fair point." So
Hell yeah.
we got a little bit more out of it because Jess is actually a snake a little bit.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah, secret snake Jess.
Welcome to Chicago. I hope it's as good to you as Detroit has been on the other side of Lake Michigan.
Michigan.
I started that sentence. I was like, wait, I can't get out of this now. Jeez, yeah. We immediately actually have our New England pick in, and that would be one Jonathan Hagan, Camping Killer out of Anaheim. That Anaheim New England connection growing stronger by the season. Another, I think.
Wonder why.
Yeah, right. Can't imagine why you would see a lot of that. I do think that of landing spots for Camping Killer, it makes a lot of sense. I think that the best case scenario for New England is somebody that is valued as much as a top 10 pick, and obviously there's some history there and some continued not drama but development going on, and I think that they could be very good. Obviously, right here you're looking at low risk, but could be an incredibly good pickup for a New England team that stumbled a little bit at the start of their rebuild.
Yeah, this is going to be just an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Camping Killer fell so far in the draft.
Yeah,
I'm surprised somebody didn't pick him up 5 picks before this. But it's going to be great for New England to see how they make this work.
For sure. No, I think that you've got some good people in New England. I know Ken and a bunch of the guys in there are going to shape a good locker room, and Camping Killer will benefit from that, and they will benefit especially from having his caliber player and his level of activity and interest in the league. We do have another trade. I wonder if Nara will hop back in here, or if this is my responsibility. They are still working out the verification of it, I guess.
I think we've got HO's approved, modified version of it put forward, and now they just need to get the approval.
Okay. It's weird being this far caught up to them.
That's what happens when you have the slowest draft ever.
No, man. Let this be a success on the production end.
It's the SHL way.
Yeah, I'm only here, for anyone who doesn't know, hi, I'm only here because Kath, the regular co-GM of Calgary, had a child recently, and so he's busy with that.
Okay, well, you're not even supposed to be here technically. You just you just showed up
Izzy
before the draft.
Yeah, Izzy was like, "Hey, you want to help just cross people off?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I saw everybody in the production voice channel, so I was like, "Oh, I'll say hi." And then they were like, "Hey, you want to hop on and be a host?" I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. We were gonna have Infidel.
Might as well. I'm already here, right?
We were gonna pair Infidel and Jax as two guys that knew the current class really well, being in it. But Infidel actually got really sick earlier today. Not hospital sick, but really sick earlier today, and is currently probably asleep in bed. So thoughts going out to him. Hope he feels better soon. But that would be how ACAP ended up here real quick. as we wait for the JG, not for the SHL GMs to figure this stuff out.
This trade is a whole bunch of
It's a
words that
mess.
I can't say on a stream.
Are we allowed to say like the specific hang up or
Nah,
is that,
we'll
or-
just wait. We'll wait for Nara to hop in here.
Okay.
That's his job, but I wouldn't want to take it away from him.
I mean, did we say who the trade was between? 'Cause I
Nah,
can tell you who-
we'll just hang out. It's very clearly
It's almost.
No, one of the teams.
Because I can tell you that the specific hang up is not the picks, but the person trading.
yeah.
Palsy.
All right, JK, no trade. It's off.
Jesus Christ. At least this isn't my fault.
We'll find a way to make it your fault.
That's fair.
I will absolutely collude this against you.
I'm just gonna bra emote in the GM chat for a little bit. All right, there we go. The pick is in.
Finally.
Jesus Christ. The pick was in, and now it's finally in. And I get paid for this, to be fair. Sorry about that. Spectrum got me, as we were worried about.
Classic Spectrum.
Turns out it was my fault in the end. But the trade's not happening. We've got Hamilton finally on the clock and having to pick. Like, honestly, I wouldn't want to make this pick either. I'd try and avoid it. But never broke again, young boy. D Mills, welcome to Hamilton, I guess. I'm sure they're thrilled to have you.
Are they though?
Honestly, I'm
Maybe.
surprised he went that high.
Yeah.
That's pretty high up for him. I don't know if he can even reach that pick.
A very surprising tall order.
Yeah.
How many more short jokes do you think we can work into this bit here?
I could do the entire rest of the stream.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
Probably.
won't be too long until the stream goes down again, I bet.
I was talking with JY yesterday, and he used a shorthand of something that I did not understand, and I said, I don't know what that's short for, but I also don't know what Mills is short for either.
Ah, I got him.
Got him.
The number of short jokes in JGM chat still is great. The
It's glorious. It still happens.
he's never safe.
We need to bring him back in there just to be a punching bag.
Absolutely.
Every time somebody wants to make a short joke, just let me know. I'll invite Mills. We'll bring him in. And once he's in there, make the joke, and I'll kick him back out.
Hell yeah.
Well,
He's
Yeah.
gonna catch on eventually, but
Nah. No, we'll just start DMing him. Oh man, Infidel's awake, by the way. He has a joke for me. I can only imagine this is about Mills.
oh,
Hey guys, what is Mills short for?
what is Milch? What is it?
Because he has little legs.
ah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know what? I make fun of Mills a lot, but the truth of the matter is he's one of my favorite people on the site, and he will probably be in my wedding party, which is great.
Oh, that's
if
cool.
I buy his suit, I can save money by getting it in the kids section.
The bachelor party's gonna be real weird when they think you're bringing a 13-year-old around with you.
Yeah, we're not going to be allowed into a lot of places. We can't even fly anywhere because they're going to ask me if I have permission to take the minor out of the country.
I need to mute myself. I'm laughing so hard.
All right, we've got that Baltimore pick finally in, I think. But we also that was a trade, right? Yeah, we got
Let's talk about that first.
we got a trade. Is Nauer even here? Nauer
I'm right
is
here.
here. Hey, what's the trade?
I will say I'm sorry to interrupt you guys making jokes about Mills. I would have loved to jump in on that, but
Jump over that.
Yeah, so Baltimore. so Okay, so Baltimore and Texas are trading here. Obviously, you guys were following along with the backlog on the previous pick, but this one is actually a legal one. Texas is sending the 40th overall pick to Baltimore, and in return, they're getting the Los Angeles S61 third, which is owned by Baltimore.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Please resume making fun of Mills.
Absolute. Anytime. And with that pick, 40th overall, Baltimore is selecting Renee Pugh, Big Titty Smitty. Phenomenal username, though. A main UDFA, so a lot of connections to Baltimore in that regard. And again, I think just like more instances of UDFAs kind of flying under the radar and getting picked up by teams that either are paying attention or are around those J locker rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very exciting to see, I think.
Do you think that Hamilton hired Mills as the coach, and specifically Halsey, so that people would stop making fun of Halsey?
Probably.
It's just some Geiga brain stuff.
It's a smart move by Halsey.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you gotta always have a scapegoat. And like, what better way to get a scapegoat than to just? Can you really hide behind Mills though? That is like, you can't.
There's not much of a scapegoat there. You'd probably need to replace it soon.
Yeah.
I would like to point out the name for a baby goat is a kid, so it's more like escaped kid.
Fair. Okay. Thank you. We do. God damn it. We do have Calgary's pick in. And
For Calgary.
what's up?
The first pick for Calgary.
Yeah. ACAB, you finally get to talk about your own team.
So, once you announce it,
Yeah.
I think it's something I was a little surprised with, but the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, this is great. Like, why would I question this?
Mm-hmm. That pick is actually Zen Rosa Vickian out of Anaheim. Somebody that I actually got to talk to a little bit. Somebody with a lot of history on the site. Just didn't pan out for us as far as which goalie we chased after in the J draft, but somebody that I enjoyed talking to and somebody that I think fits in really well with Calgary. ACAP, you want to go in more?
Yeah, like timing wise, I was like, this is a little weird. We've still got Nimblrod, we've got Wally, and they're both great goalies. But Nimble's been getting hit hard by regression, and like he's been fighting it fantastically. But of course, we know the guy eventually we're going to need to replace him, and I think this fits our timetable perfectly. I think it's huge to pick up a goalie still over 300 TPE with your first pick at what? Gosh, this
41, I think.
Yeah, 41.
Yeah.
So getting somebody over 300 or over 300 TPE at 41, they've got a big bank account. They're active with posting. I like this pick so much.
No, I think it's actually really good. And I think it's like identifying a draft that you don't have a lot of assets in, and instead of moving in, you're just identifying a way that the draft can still play well for your team. So you don't have to give up anything, but you still are making a very good value pick for the future of your team.
Yeah. So, finally, me being here has paid off.
I do have another D-Mills joke if you guys want it.
Yeah, go for it.
If D-Mills was a sheep, he would be an ewe, which is really convenient because that's what he hears on a lot of dating apps.
Oh,
Oh, man. That's
Jesus.
mean.
That's not even a short joke.
Yeah, we're getting away from the short jokes.
Anyway, Toronto's like that was just cruel. Toronto's pick at 42 overall, Benjamin Jansen out of Anchorage, user Tesla. Another person that wait, was this Felix? You actually talked to Tesla a good bit, didn't you? Or am I wrong?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. Tesla kind of flew under the radar in the J draft. Somebody that I was hoping to pick up, actually probably right after Anchorage ended up picking them up, because I was just in the market for a large number of forwards, and in the event that one of my picks didn't pan out, I wanted to have Tesla around as an alternative. I think this is a good job of Toronto identifying potential value down the line. As in, like, hey, yeah, this person's not like earned the most, they don't have the huge bank, but like if we can figure out how to sort of engage this person in the right way, it can make a lot of sense down the road.
More things happening.
Yeah, there's
things in the background.
This is, goddamn, dude.
There's one team in particular who's just very active with all
there's
of
a few, and they keep meeting up, honestly. So we wait for it's New England on the clock right now, actually. As we wait for that pick to actually come in. I think it's something to be said that, like, with 20 teams now in the SHL, and like we're still able to find valuable third round picks, and like teams are staying engaged through the third round, and like have people that they still want to see fall to them, says a lot about sort of the depth of the league and where we're at, and like where the league's, like the depth of where the league will continue to progress towards. And no, I'm not saying we're going to expand within like the next 2 seasons, but like it's not flattening out anytime soon, which is exciting. Like if the number of people engaged in the league continues to stay the same, and our classes keep growing and producing like this, it's like exciting to see how just like inevitable this league can be.
Oh yeah, like there's so many plans just throughout all of the seasons that people have dreamt up, that at the time people were like, that's crazy, like that's far too much, like this isn't feasible at all. But the larger we grow, like the bigger we can dream. And like in the recruitment teams, some of the ideas we're tossing out for like, we should do this thing, we should do that thing. Not only are these like ideas fantastic and now viable because of our size, they're also only happening because of that return on the effort. Because we've been getting these people who now show up and are enthusiastic. Oh man, like just the ceiling of the league has yet to be met. It is growing by the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if we take a second to swing back towards the draft boards real quick, we'll start to see a couple teams finally calling it quits on this hot mess of a night. Seattle saying they're done, Texas saying they're done.
They're filing in one after another.
Yeah.
Montreal said they're done, but I don't know if they're done with the draft or with the trade situation.
Or they're just done with it.
Dank is going to give up the expansion team after this.
He doesn't want to be a part of this anymore.
He can't condone what's going on. Jace loaded up Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've loaded up the wrong card here for a second, so give me a second. I've got to do production for my stream real quick.
While we do that, I can give a fun update from Manhattan.
Yeah.
There is specifically a significant other role, and so they've also technically drafted my girlfriend.
Okay.
So that's real fun. She's in there making friends. A bunch of the wives and girlfriends are in there, so that's pretty
cool.
They all have like Bay-related names too. So like JY's wife is Bay Y.
Oh,
hell yeah!
Yeah, and yeah, that's really fun. I really like that. She actually had a player in this league at one point. My girlfriend. Her username is Slothface Thrilla.
Oh, that was her. Okay.
Yeah, Yeah, Detroit goalie actually did
Yeah.
pretty well. Won a couple championships with Hamilton.
Cool.
Yeah, sure.
We jumped past the actual transition to the card because I loaded it up and threw it up there. Sorry to cut you off real quick, but
Yep.
Maxwell King, not Maxwell Kerrigan, Tubby Tim 69 heading to New England. New England digging a little deep on this for this rebuild that's coming up ahead of them. Finding these guys with decently high ceilings and gonna see if they can sort of build on like the multitudes of them. Like obviously there's just like one or two of them around isn't going to be as engaged as having multiple. So getting a few more pieces in there for the upcoming couple seasons will be nice to have. I think King will definitely be a good contributor to that as somebody that's come in as a UDFA and has stuck with the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hot mess
Because
of
you're
the night.
Yeah. Just because you're a UDFA who joined a little late doesn't mean you are super far behind. I mean, like I joined later and then missed a bunch of TP in my rookie season, and I'm still pretty up there now. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, no, you were less of a UDFA and more just gone.
Yeah.
Well, and you look at the current SMJHL draft class, and they're still like just now recruiting.
Oh yeah.
Like I think today was r/Canucks, which best subreddit by the way. And we're still getting new players created even now. Like we're almost 12 hours away from the draft.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't remind me.
Interns,
Oh god.
massive shout out to our interns who have just been on top of it this entire season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were hoping to also get like Arcanes and Calgary. No, not Calgary. There was one other subreddit that we were looking at, and both of them just gave us very strongly worded no's.
Hell yeah. We got our next Buffalo pick in, one that Flex will surely be excited about.
That one was a trade, by the way.
Oh, that was a trade?
Yeah,
Oh, now
I'm
it's here.
Yeah.
Thank you. What's up now?
Hey, man. Okay, so I'm actually out right now for ice cream with my sister. I promised we'd go out today, so I'm gonna have her. I have her as my guest star here. She's gonna be announcing this trade.
Hell yeah.
Hello. Okay, so Buffalo receives Montreal's S60 third round pick, which is 44th overall. In return, Montreal receives Buffalo's S64 third round pick. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah.
Very much.
Incredible.
All right, there you go. That's the story.
All right, thank you, Nauer.
Yes, sir.
And with that pick, Buffalo is taking the Anchorage goalie, Guy Fieri.
Not a goalie, but a winger. They changed earlier today, I believe.
Oh, did they?
With that new rule.
Oh, hell
Thank
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I'm about to go up against them in the playoffs again.
That
Yeah, I
is,
believe they changed to winger
okay.
pretty recently.
No, I like that pick for Buffalo a lot. You guys actually have found some insane value in here.
Oh yeah, it's been a pretty good day for us, I would say.
Oh, for sure. Also, like, Scory Corey, fantastic username, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know too much about this guy since I didn't look at any goalies really last draft, but he had a good season for Anchorage and is changing to wing. And
Was it you guys wanting him to change, or was it a?
I think he changed earlier today, like before the draft. So I think that's the time frame you have to do it by anyway.
Okay.
With that new rule, so yeah, excited to bring him in.
For sure.
We have a lot of Anchorage players, so he should fit in pretty well.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense, especially with guys like Tom in there. let's see. Our next pick is in for Philadelphia, and that is awkwardly. Like, I don't know what happened. The image got messed up. I apologize. I will post that in the forum later for you. But that is Rick Charles, I believe. Rick Charles with Simo 393. That was a from last season, wasn't it?
I think it was a season or two ago.
Yeah,
they've been around for a couple of seasons.
That's Simo. Another team taking a swing.
If you've been in a sim league, like any of the big three, or in any of the other big, ISFL PBE, you probably know Simo.
Yeah.
He just does everything in every league. The madman.
Yeah. Nah, cool dude. Not super big on maxing in the SHL, but that's fair. Like, still having a good time. Will still probably be a fun presence in the locker room, but apologies that there's no card. I did not properly count the number of redraftable players, so forgive me. Let's see. We have our next Winnipeg pick in from. Let's see. Does this one have a card either? Yes, this one does. There it is. And that would be Winnipeg taking Elvis Alexander, the user Knuckles. Another fantastic username. We've hit up r/Canucks a lot recently. Actually,
I wonder what NHL team they're a fan of.
There's always a few Canucks fans really, like that.
Yeah. Probably an NHL team that's really good but is run horribly. And I'm not bitter about it at all.
Charlesworth was a season 58 dude that we were not prepared for having a card for. Apologies.
I will say, I keep saying that r/Canucks is the best subreddit, and it's because it's provided a lot of top tier people to this sim league. I think we got both Boom and Rose Puff out of it. They were in the same draft class.
I believe that.
I came out of it. I mean, come on, pretty good. I'm okay. We can at least say I'm okay.
You're fine. You're passable.
I'm contractually obligated to say that you're okay due to my position as co-GM or co-commish.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a good. I don't have the full list of r/Canucks people, but it seems like we scout from there a lot.
Mm-hmm. No, we definitely do.
I shouted out Quebec earlier, so Faye can talk nice about it.
I think it's partly because the Canucks are always out in time for us to scout there.
That's fair.
Ooh.
They're just never competitive.
Wait, who made it to the third round last season? Right, that was the Canucks.
Hey, where's your cup?
All right.
Back in 1914 or whatever.
Anyway, we're going to get back to the draft where Minnesota's selecting a goalie. Phalanx, this one goes out to you and to the chat, honestly, who's been clamoring for it. What you know about Nordiques?
Nordiques, my boy.
Like, we saw him create, and we're like, yeah, this guy's going to QCC, right?
We were super excited. To snap him up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nordiques is a great guy. He was our honorary cheerleader for our cup run season.
Okay.
You can see him in the chat every day, hyping up QCC. And it was great to see. And then he finally got around to creating. I think he was.
Oh, okay. No, I remember now. I remember him now.
Yeah,
he was a cool dude.
Yeah, great guy. He's a PBE GM.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows his way, or he knows how this whole sim league things works.
Yeah, no, and he's done all right for himself in his rookie season too.
Yeah, earned pretty well for being a later create.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Minnesota's got a good one there.
Yeah, no, that'll be a good piece to pick up as they're looking to improve on their to rebuild their roster. Oh God, we're finally here. Toronto's pick is in.
It's time.
It's time.
Boys.
Just Newt, motherfuckers. Newt. Technically a UDFA with Detroit, although not was actually the 69th pick by Detroit, while not actually approved as a player.
Not legal.
Yeah, this is your fault, ACAP.
It wasn't our fault. You can't pick somebody who's not a legal pick.
You should have made him a legal pick.
We can't do that. There are specific rules about when we can approve people, and he did not meet that.
I feel like if anyone's going to get an exemption from the rules, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
It would.
it was very tempting to allow Pingy to be 69.
Yeah, you denied his
Should've let it
you denied
be more
fate,
time.
honestly.
Hey, he should have retired his player sooner.
That's such a lame cop out.
It's
Yeah,
legal.
Pingy's honestly done really well, and I think Jace was talking about it earlier. Pretty active, earning well, got the bank. Been engaged on the forums, been around Tampa's locker room, just doing Pingy things, but also actually, interacting and engaging with people, and not just memeing around. And honestly, I expected Pingy this time to go before this pick. Definitely seemed like a more worthy risk this time than in prior instances. It's definitely been a steal for Detroit. Kind of kicking myself for not kind of coming up with that one, but
Not picking him at 68th.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were done before
Well,
that. But
And you know what? He's only been kicked from one Discord channel so far this season.
that's
So
pretty good.
It's shown that he's matured.
He's also muted by a lot of people that he has the history with,
Yeah,
which I kind of get.
That solves the problem.
Anyone who has muted Pingy is a coward.
that's fair. Anybody who doesn't have Pingy bot in their locker room is a coward.
And gone are the days.
Okay,
that
well,
he
that's
had
maybe
one
going a little
pick.
too far. But
That's probably a little too far.
For what it's worth, Pingy has expressed multiple times in multiple different locations, he wants to make a superstar with this player. He's
Okay.
got goals with them, and it's really cool to see how the drive is going to work for them.
That'll be cool. I hope so. We've got our next Tampa Bay pick in as we reach close to the end of this draft, and that will be Rinky McDangle. These names are incredible. Iron Hollow, 270 TPE, UDFA, good, yeah. To get this as teams are done, teams are checking out. Some of these GMs probably wanted to go to bed, and you're still plugging along, finding good value picks.
I think it's very possible that a couple of the people later in these rounds, after teams have started calling it for the night, will be considered steals in the next couple of seasons.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially Pingy. I got hope for Pingy.
No, I like that. I like the dedication there, especially.
At this point, who all is not passed? Is it just Toronto?
Let's see.
I think there's still a couple more picks to be announced,
Yeah.
and then, yeah.
Let's see. Our Atlanta pick is in. I'm honestly a big fan of this entire round of the draft. This one will be Thomas Kalakny, Efig. Geck is gone, but Atlanta still gets some memes. Great person, honestly, overall.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal presence in a locker room. very happy to see them end up in Atlanta, where I think they've got a good thing going culture-wise. Fan overall, just of like being able to like get this pick in the 50s.
Efig and Hot Dog in the same locker room terrifies me.
A little bit, yeah. That's
A
fair.
little bit, yeah.
That's amazing.
Terrifies me a lot, actually. A lot. But yeah, I could see that being good, and it's a good platform if like Efig comes back and starts earning pretty well again. Like, that's a good place to do it.
You'd have to earn well in the first place. And I'm only making fun of Efig because he was on Vancouver when I first joined. So
That's fair.
I don't want to call him a mentor because that would look really bad on me. But
Yeah. Let's see. Is this the one I have to grab? It is.
I actually forgot he was in this draft class for a little while. It's just because he's so quiet in the rookie chat.
Mm-hmm. So quiet.
No, but seriously, I think he's posted like maybe 5 times in the rookie chat.
Oh. Our final, or our third, not our final, our third, fourth actually, undrafted player finally getting drafted, comes from Edmonton, who's taking the season 59 Schnarly dude, the ISFL GM. Great dude, just wasn't earning at the rate that teams wanted to pick up last time when we had such a crunch for players. Alimony Tony out of Anchorage should still honestly do pretty well as a mid-6 guy if they keep it up. Will definitely be a contributor. Like we're halfway to like the 600 700 TPE mark that like the new update skill affords like players being able to like be on the ice and contribute in this league. So I think that like doing that is a good safety net for a team that you're not sure if you're going to need that down the road. If you have the cap space, you should actually absolutely be taking that shot.
That's also a hell of a name.
Oh yeah. Alimony, like
That name.
big Dwight Knight vibes.
I would say better than Dwight Knight. Personally, but
These are fighting words.
I'm not sure I buy that one, but we'll see.
it's just like, is he alimony Tony because he doesn't pay alimony?
Or is he alimony Tony
Or is
because he
he-
does pay alimony? Either
Yeah,
way,
he's really good at
either
paying
way,
That's
there were
right.
alimony payments needed, which is good. Is that good? I think
It depends on your goal.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Alimony, or if you're depends on which side of the coin you're on.
Yeah,
Hey, maybe they're paying him alimony.
fair. Ooh, actually, that's a fair point. Our pick from Chicago is in. As we look to wrap up this draft, please get us out of here. And that would be Rob Ford, Aiden 293, a UDFA out of Anaheim. A little bit hit or miss, but teams with the cap now can take these flyers. And obviously, Chicago, Anaheim has a decently solid old school pipeline with guys like Danini there. Blitz is in the chat saying, according to media lore, he enjoys paying alimony for alimony Tony.
Oh,
That's really a success then.
Yeah. But Rob Ford coming to Chicago. I'm a fan overall of like these late round flyers actually getting opportunities now. Like you're not getting picked up. You're not getting overlooked with like, okay, if you earn more the next season, we'll pick you up. You're getting picked up now with like a support system and another locker room to join, and more ways to enjoy and engage with the league. And if things don't work out then, and you want to take a step back, then it's fine, and nobody's at a loss for it. But you're able to get these opportunities more readily now. So I'm a fan of that.
also big fan of Rob Ford. Not a huge fan of his brother.
Yeah, that's fair.
But all in all, Rob Ford's the good one. So
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna have to watch his addictions if he wants to make the show, though.
Oh my god, it keeps getting better, dude. Manhattan's pick is in, and that is the goalie Monster the Doctor.
Hell yeah.
Like, what the
Great name.
I can't deal with this, dude. Iniku the Boss.
You'll feel better.
That render.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that render.
Incredible.
Manhattan getting a backup that could just transition to a Bloomy-esque career seems fine. Like, you're not gonna be unhappy. Did well in Detroit. Some connections there that, like, yeah, similar to Rob Ford, like a good safety net could pan out, and if not, nobody's at the worst for it.
No harm, no foul by the end of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like getting into Manhattan, as like Jax was talking about, is like a super exciting proposition. Like, one, you're with Jax and Luke and Jay, but like the entire locker room, like while they're rebuilding now, they're like a team that has like enough experience at the helm that with like picks like this and other ones that they make, some of them pan out, and all of a sudden they're like climbing back up the table again. So that'll be exciting.
I mean, just talking about support systems, if you look at managers or former managers in Manhattan, you've got JY, Luke, you've got Toast, who's the GM of Maine, you've got me, you've got Alaska, former GM. Like, those are just the people that are online right now. Like, the support system with this team is pretty good.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense. For some of these more established, like consistent locker rooms to take these Flyers, because like if any team's going to get them engaged, it's those kinds of teams. Also, apologies if you can hear that. There's some guy buzzing my neighborhood with his mufflerless car. It's wonderful.
Classic.
Classic 7.
Mm-hmm.
New England's next pick is in. Out of QCC, Flex, what you know about your boy Nameless Nate? Does he have a name?
No. What kind of question is
clearly.
that? It's literally
my bad.
His username. Yeah. So we brought him in as a UDFA to fill in as our last forward, and he did pretty well for a little while, and then just kind of fell off a bit. So maybe him getting into a new locker room can help bring him back, and I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Would love to have him back and being active again.
Yeah, I think it's like low risk, especially for like a team that's got like we've talked a couple times about like support systems and culture, good culture, but like has the cap space in the rebuild to take on some of these kinds of players. Should be pretty promising.
Yeah.
And now the moment you've been waiting for.
It's time.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. The anal god himself. If you were here for the last draft, Jesus Christ. ML, welcome home, I guess. You left for a month and a half, and you finally came back. Better track record than my dad. I had to. Yeah, GM player, not super exciting. Might be better than his last player, might not be. Probably has to be, honestly. The bar's set pretty low.
Probably has to be,
yeah, sorry we didn't invite you back to the interview stage after last season's debacle.
What can I say except ML Stinky for abandoning the best class?
Yeah, he bailed on season 53. Like, how did you do that?
Unbelievable.
Also, once again, shout out to Tampa for just giving up pick 69.
Thank
Like,
you for making this possible.
come on, bro.
So, can somebody fill me in on the anal god thing?
So last season for the draft, Toronto had like 3 picks in the top 8 or something. So like good hosts,
Yeah.
like as good hosts do, we invited ML on to interview him as we went through most of the rest of the first round, and ML had a username in GM, like a display name in GM chat that said like ML something something the anal god. So when he joined, you can see in the top left where we have like the Discord overlay.
Yep.
He joined and it just said anal god or something like that. And I didn't realize it for a good 5 minutes. So it was just anal god ML in here.
Nice.
Yeah, I was less than thrilled about that one. But like everybody had a good laugh, so what can you do?
I'm pretty thrilled about it, and I wasn't even around for it.
Nah, there's screenshots floating around. Somebody will send it to you, I'm sure.
Or post it in
Great
general
moments in
chat.
SHL draft history.
These moments are never forgotten.
We've got our final actual pick of the draft, and it is our last undrafted player from past drafts coming in out of Kelowna. We have Jiggly 333, Kao Satome. Again, good to see like these opportunities taking place. Toronto has like a history recently of picking up these players that like have had trouble fitting in, not like fitting in, like struggling to, but like just there's not space for them in the league. Jiggly being a casualty of that this past season. Juni Panda being a casualty of that a couple seasons ago. And there was always like space in Toronto for those players. They somehow made it work with the cap while still, finishing up their rebuild. And, props to ML and Urson and the entire organization there for continuing to make that happen. Like it's nice that like all of the people that we saw going undrafted last draft found spots this draft, and it gives credence to like what we were talking about with undrafted players sticking with it and finding a spot down the road. You don't like to see it, but sometimes it just awkwardly happens. So like I know my goalie in Carolina, Greg, and there might be a couple other guys out there who are like around and engaged in the league but didn't find a spot, just getting overlooked. The expansion jacked up the league a little bit, but like as we can see with like numbers and Jiggly and everybody else, like you Valor, and you stick with it, and you continue to show the league that you're like interested in contributing, and there'll be space for you down the line. For those of you about to leave though, hold on 1 second, because I've got just the straight gas events team backing me up, because we already have the draft card for Rick Charlesworth that we're loading up real quick, because I don't have to forget it down the road. But we've got that Rick Charlesworth coming up, just so we can put it up on the screen real quick as Jace is taking over the overlay. Let's see. Was that Philly?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was Philly.
Yes, it was Philly.
All right, there we go. Philadelphia earlier took Rick Charlesworth. Apologies, we didn't have it up sooner. Just an overlook on my part, but we got to get that done, so thank you very much. Glad we could see everybody end up on teams for the most part. Greg, if like we will get you there, and anybody else like clearly there's evidence of like no matter like your history in the league or in other leagues or with past teams, you stick around for a season, you'll get noticed, and you'll get there, and then like you're not any worse off for it. So yeah, I'm glad that everybody could make it out for this. It was more of a hot mess than it was the last season. Apologies for that, maybe. But I'm glad that everybody came out. I hope you guys are all happy with the players that are now on your team. I'm happy with the teams that you're now on.
I'm actually thrilled.
Yeah, I believe you are. But yeah, always a good time getting to announce the future of the league like this. Thank you, Jax, for stepping in with like 12 hours notice. Thank you, Jace, for just hauling ass and grinding this out with me. Thank you, ACAP, for, I guess, not leaving. And thank you, Flex, for continuing to follow all these projects. Yeah, stay tuned for 14 hours from now. We'll have a SMJ SHL draft. Thankfully, I only have to do the drafting.
And if it brings you into it, my co-GM Jess will be giving her first interview.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I can also guarantee
people will show up for her. I know they will. So,
absolutely, Jess is fantastic. They're also not JSS. Thanks, Scumba.
yeah.
So,
I
will
also specifically
go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was personally guarantee it does not go as slowly as this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a little rough.
I will also say I specifically hired Jess so that when she recreates, nobody else can pick her.
Brilliant plays.
So that's my one good move as a GM.
But yeah, thank you guys for coming out. It was a long 2.5, 3 hours, but we made it. Enjoy your nights. Enjoy the rest of your scouting if you're a JGM.
Oh God,
This is gonna be
I'm
agony.
going to sleep. Never mind scouting. There's way too many people creating now for me to
Right.
scout them. The later rounds of we've got 70 prospects now. Round 7 is going to be a total crapshoot, and I'm excited.
Oh, absolutely.
hell yeah.
So yeah, until the next time you have to hear from me, take care. Have a good season. Have a good off season. And yeah, we will be back here next season.
Night, everybody. Love you all.
Good night.
Good night. Good luck in all your new teams, everyone.